Welcome back to Untitled Crochet. So today we're going to do the square that goes with the Interloctagon pattern that I'm making. You could use this square for anything you wanted, of course, if you just wanted like a blanket square. It's kind of fun, but it is specifically made to fit with the Interloctagon. So here's the Interloctagon. I have a separate video for how to make this pattern, and so the sides of the square match up with the sides of the octagon, and I even mirrored the gray stitches on this last row here so they align. So let's get started. You're going to need for this project 2 colors of worsted weight yarn, size I crochet hook, 2 stitch markers. So I am using Paint Box Simply Aran yarn. You can use any worsted weight yarn you'd like, it really doesn't matter. And our A color in this pattern is what we start with and what we finish with. So in this instance, mine is gray. So I'm going to get some gray out, and I'm going to start with a magic ring. You can start with whatever circle starting technique you prefer. I'm going to do a magic ring. So this is actually starting the same way as the Interloctagon, so if you've done that, you'll be familiar. I'm going to do a chain 4, that counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. Then I'll do 7 more double crochets separated by chain 1 spaces. So here's 2, chain 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we should have 8 total double crochet, keeping in mind that our starting chain counted as 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we can tighten up our ring here. Again, we're going to weave that tail in really good at the end so that it doesn't come loose. And then we'll join to our starting chain. So remembering that we had a double crochet and a chain 1 in between. So I'll join here. This is joining to the 3rd stitch of my starting chain, which would be the top of my starting double crochet. Then we'll chain 4 and place a stitch marker. Now set that aside for just a second, and we'll get our B color out, which for me is going to be yellow. So for this pattern I'm using up some scrap yarn, so it's actually the same colors partially as the interlocking tiles blanket that I did. My yarn is all tangled, oh no. I'm just going to start with a slip knot and then chain 8. I'm going to weave this just like for the octagon. So I'm going to start, my working yarn of yellow is going to be just to the left of my working yarn for gray. I'm going to go over the starting stitch for gray, and then I'm just going to weave this back and forth through my starting stitches. And we'll get our B color back on our hook, and we'll join this to form a ring, and chain 4. And now I like to just kind of work this so that that circle is a little bit more evenly spaced, because when you pull it through it kind of gets a little bit wonky. Okay. And now we'll keep going with our B color. So this counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. But we actually want one more chain here because we want that to be a chain 2. And then all of these stitches are going to be from the front. So double crochet, chain 1, then double crochet, chain 2. Oops. And then double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 2. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 2. And then we'll finish off in that first section with a double crochet and a chain 1. Now we want the working yarn of our A color to be in the back, so we'll put that behind, and we'll join to our starting chain. Remember, so that was the top of the double crochet, there's the 2 chains, and this would be the top of our starting double crochet. And chain 4. Okay, so this start is very, very similar, if not identical, to the start of our other round. Wherever there were the chain 2s, that's where our corners are going to be, and the chain 1s are going to be our side. So here on my sample square, you can see we've got this X with our gray, and these clusters of 2 double crochets with the yellow separating the corners. So now we get our A color back on our hook, and now we need to make corners with our A color. Our B color is going to start in the back on the next round, so we'll put that behind. So we have a chain 4 here that counts as a double crochet and a chain 1, which is what we want. Now, in the next double crochet, which is this front one right here, we're going to work a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet to make a quarter. And all of these stitches are going to be worked from the back. So from the back into that double crochet, chain 3, double crochet. And you can play with the corners, the number of chains in the corners, depending on how tight or loose you want your corners. Sometimes I've done chain 2s, chain 3s, or chain 4s. It really just depends on your tension and your yarn and what you want to do. So I'm going to do chain 3s for now. And then a chain 1, and now a double crochet, chain 1, and now our next corner, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in the same stitch, chain 1, and then a double crochet and a chain 1, another corner, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in the same stitch, and chain 1. Other side, so just a regular back stitch. Now another corner, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 1, and now we're back to our start. So we're going to join to our starting chain, and chain 4. And place a stitch marker. So now you can see we have some corners developing here for the gray, and we're going to get some sharper corners here for the yellow on the next round too. Our B color back on our hook. We started in the back. We're going to do a front corner, and the corner is going to be worked around the chain. So a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 1, and now 2 back stitches. So reach from behind, double crochet and chain 1, and then reaching from behind, double crochet and chain 1. Now another front corner, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 1, 2 back stitches. So I'm assuming that you're familiar with interlocking crochet. I haven't gone over the basics, but make sure you've got this gray post on one side and that gray post on the other side when you grab this stitch, so that it stays in the right place. Another front corner. We're just going to do this all the way around. Front corner separated by 2 back stitches. and then 1 back stitch to finish our starting row, starting side rather. Okay, we're going to have the gray working yarn in the back and join to our starting chain. Chain 4. And place a stitch marker. So now we've established corners for both of our colors, and our circle that we started with is turning into a square nicely. Get our A color back on our hook, and our B color to start in the back again. Alright, so we started here in the back, now we'll do a front stitch. And we'll do a back corner, so around the chain of the gray, we're going to do, again, the double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 1. And we'll do along the side, front, back, front. And then another back corner around the chain of the gray. And then we'll keep doing this all the way around. So on the sides, front, back, front, then a back corner. When you get back to the starting side, you'll finish with 1 more front stitch and then join to the starting chain. Okay, now we'll get our B color back on our hook. And in this round, we're going to do just back stitches all the way around. And the gray will start in the front on the next round. So I'll just do a few here. So I started in the back, the next stitch in the back. On a back corner, so reach under the gray, grab the yellow, and I'll do a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 1, and then we'll continue on. Make sure you get the first double crochet, and that gray stitch here is on the right side of it. So you reach between the gray stitches to grab that first double crochet on the side. Okay, so we'll keep going. We're just going to do, like I said, back stitches all the way around. So there will be 4 backs along the side and then a back corner. And then when you get back to the front, make sure the working yarn of your A color is in the front when you join. Okay, now we'll get our A color back on our hook. Our B is going to start in the back. And now we're basically alternating again. So we're in the front, now we'll do back, front, and now a back corner. So again, reaching through the other color, grabbing that chain, and pulling it to the back to do a double crochet, 3 chain, and another double crochet in that chain, and chain 1. Okay. So now this side, we'll start in the front, and back, front, back, front, whoops, and a back corner. Okay, so we'll just continue that along each side. So after the corner, front, back, back corner. And when you get all the way back here, after the corner, you'll just have front, then back, and then join to your starting chain. Get our B color back on our hook, and this is actually the last round for B color already. It's a pretty quick little project. So in B, we're going to just do back stitches all the way around again. So we started in the back, we'll work back stitches. And again, on the corner, reach through the gray, grab the yellow, pull it to the back, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, chain 1. Keep going in the back. Again, when you do this first double crochet, make sure that gray post is on the right side of it. And we'll just keep working back stitches. Okay, so we'll do that all the way around, back corners, back stitches all along the sides. When you get back to your start, you want your A color to be in the back when you join to your starting chain. Since that was the last round for the B color, I've tied it off, and now we just have one more round for our A color. On this round, the corners are going to be a little bit different because we want the corners to match up exactly with how the corners are on the octagon. So if you are doing the square just for the sake of doing a square and you're not going to connect it to the octagons, then you can just do the corners the same way we've been doing them in the previous rounds. But if you're using them for the Interloctagon blanket, then I like to do a little bit different, and I'll show you that. Alright, so we started in the back. We're going to do one more back stitch. Then front, and then back. Now for the corner, we're going to do a front corner. We'll start with the double crochet. And now instead of doing any chains, we're going to do a front loop single crochet in the second chain of the yellow corner. And then we'll do another double crochet in the corner. So we're doing double crochet, front loop single crochet, double crochet. So there's just 3 stitches for the corner instead of 5, which makes it feel a little bit tight, but when we join it to the Interloctagon, it will square it out. Okay, now chain 1. Now we're going to do back, front, 3 backs, front, back. So back, front, 3 backs, front, back, and again our front corner, double crochet, front loop single crochet in the yellow chain, the second stitch of the yellow chain, and then another double crochet in the corner. Okay, so we'll do this all the way around. Each side is going to be the same. After the corner, back, front, 3 backs, front, back, and then the front corner that is a double crochet, front loop single crochet in the second chain of the yellow corner, and then another double crochet to finish the corner. So you do that all the way around, and then when you get back to the start, after the corner, you'll just have the front, back, and one more back, and then join to the starting chain. And then you can tie off your A color and you're done. So this is what the finished square looks like. You can see the corners match up, like I said, with the interloctagons. So if you are making a blanket, every internal section of where 4 interloctagons meet, you're going to need a square. So I'm going to make a small like baby blanket or crib blanket, and so I'm making 9 interloctagons, and I'm going to need 4 squares. So you can see when these meet up, the interloctagons touch on one portion, and there was a square here, and there will be 2 more interloctagons around the square, and then there would also be an interloctagon over here. If you purchase a pattern, you can see charts for layout, but yeah, I think it's pretty doable. You can use any joining method you like. I don't recommend doing one of the joining methods that takes like a mesh join, just because the corners, I don't know, it just feels a little weird to do it with a mesh. You can, like I said, do whatever you want. I'm always a fan of people making projects totally their own and innovating and, you know, doing what you need to do. So that is that. Happy crocheting!